Welcome to the pod, Raising Heaven.
Happy to be
Wait,
here.
wait.
Right?
Praising heaven.
Raising Heaven.
It's been
Okay,
so long.
it's been so long. Welcome
I
back.
will
We
say
are back. Go
I'll
ahead.
say your part. Raising hell.
To heaven.
That's good. I love it.
So
Uh,
we're really excited. We have a really special guest today. His name is Jay. I'm a poet. I didn't even know it. Okay. And as he just mentioned, he is in Florida. But we get to I already know a little bit about his journey. Kate knows a little about his journey, but we're so excited about it because we want to share it with you guys because it's just very inspirational. And so I'm super excited. Thank you for taking the time on your Thanksgiving to hang out with us.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to meet you, and I've been seeing all your content, so I'm, been excited to finally get to share opinions and talk to you guys. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So can you give us a little background? I know it's like it would take a couple hours to get because you have a lot of depth there, which is incredible. But like kind of just like a little blurb about yourself and how you got to where you are with the Lord now.
Yeah. So I'm 22 years old. I've lived in this area my whole life. I've been surfing. I'm a surfer. I'm a waterman. I've been living near the ocean pretty much since I was like super young. Um, Basically, this journey kind of started with content creation, started about 4 months ago. I'd never really done anything like this. It was just something to help me get through what I was going through. I had a pretty bad breakup. Me and my girl, we dated for about 2 years, and we broke up because of long distance. So I went to school over on St. Augustine, Florida, for about 2 years, studied business. Yeah, and basically, I just tried out this content creation because it's been like, at first, I was like, all right, I never saw myself doing anything like this. I could never see myself get in front of a camera. I could never see myself like sharing my opinions online. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna try something completely new, and I'm gonna dive into this. I'm gonna give it a shot, see how it goes, work on communication skills, and that's where I'm at now. But yeah, I've pretty much lived in a small town my whole life. Grew up surfing in this area, free diving, been an outdoorsman, so that's been my thing. And yeah, so hopefully get to travel, take this somewhere, get to experience the world and surf epic waves one day somewhere else, maybe New Zealand.
Yeah,
Love California too. But yeah, that's a little bit about me.
that's amazing. I hear the waves in New Zealand are ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
but you
Oh
have
yeah.
to come to Cape
Australia
Town. We
too.
have the best. Guys, we have the
Cape
best
Town?
wave. Cape Town, yeah. We've got
Yeah.
J-Bay. You gotta come.
Yeah. Oh, I thought for some reason I thought you said you were from New Zealand. You're from South Africa,
I'm from South Africa,
right?
yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's yeah, Cape Town. Oh my gosh, J Bay. Yeah, that's world class. That's my dream wave for sure. But yeah, I'd love to go
Amazing.
experience epic waves somewhere else.
Well, there's a lot of places to do that, so you're gonna have a lot of traveling ahead of
Yeah,
you. I love
I'm
seeing all the
excited.
content creators that are, like, surfers and they go do, like also, like, what's it called? Like, skydiving, and I could see you doing all
I've
that
never
type
tried
of
that. Would love to.
Yeah, me either, I want to, it's on the list. But there's just so many beautiful places in the world to see, so I'm excited to see where this journey takes you. Um, so I think that one thing that's really cool is how you're operating as a Christian man, in the dating scene with not necessarily like about the dating scene, but how you're operating within yourself for your future wife, right? And so we get a lot of people coming to us being like, where do I find a perfect person? Where do find my perfect person? Right. And I've always said it's not where you are physically, it's where you are spiritually, mentally,
Exactly.
emotionally. So I think you're doing a beautiful job of that. So can you kind of walk us through, because I know you've shared about it on Instagram, but like some of the decisions you've made about like how to live life and carry yourself right now that are in a way like in service to your future family.
Yeah. So my walk with faith actually started pretty recently. I had pretty much grown up atheist my whole life. My mom would consider herself an earth-based spiritualist, spiritual, yeah. And then my dad, they're separated. It was practiced Messianic Judaism. So
Okay.
I had two polar opposites. And then my ex-girlfriend was Catholic. So I grew up atheist my whole life. I did not believe really in a higher power. I did not go to church. So, I got into a relationship with someone who was a devout Catholic. And so she kind of opened the door for my faith, even though I was kind of like I had resentment to it because it was something like I did not see myself ever doing.
Yeah.
So she opened the door to, faith. And when we broke up, it just sent me into this dark hole. And it felt like the only thing I could really turn to was Christ. My whole life I'd been a pretty quiet person, so I never really liked going out. I was not a party type. I barely ever drank. I've never even gotten blackout drunk in my life, thankfully. And so I have always had this thing like you attract who you are. So if you're going out, you're hooking up with people, you're drinking all the time, you're gonna attract that same exact personality because that's what a relationship is. It's like God puts a person that mirrors you and your traumas, your childhood traumas, to show you kind of like who you are as a reflection.
Yeah.
And so I said, all right, you know what? I could be that one of those people that gets out of a relationship and goes straight to the club and just goes and hooks up with a bunch of people, the dark route. Or I could sit with my pain, take this time to just sit with the pain, learn everything I can, become the best version of myself so that maybe one day I attract a partner who's done the same, who's done that inner work. It's not guaranteed, obviously, but when you trust in God and you put all your faith into Him, He will make things work out, and He'll bless you with someone as long as you stay the path. So that's been my kind of journey, focusing on myself. I don't go out. I don't drink unless it's like with my family or something like that. I don't go to clubs or anything like that. I just focus on going out in nature, content creation, my businesses, and just becoming the best version of myself, the best follower of Christ I can.
Beautiful. Thank you for setting an example, because especially on social media, like we need more people that are walking that walk. Especially in a culture that glorifies, right? Like just do you and like go out to the
Yeah.
club and like, the big FM energy,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Which it feeds into this like belief that it's like we're empowering people, but we're really not. Because it ends up being way worse. I've tried both ways, right? After a breakup, if you go out and just pretend you don't have feelings, the
Yeah.
feelings will get to you eventually, right? They will find you. So thank you for setting a good example, not only to the people
Thank you.
around you, but to, yeah, to hundreds, thousands of people that are gonna see your content, that are gonna look up to you. And I think that it's important for not only for younger men to like look up to you and be like, oh, that's cool to do. You know what I mean? Like, I could do that. That's not like weird. Like I could do that. You know what I mean? Like I remember when I was in like elementary or middle school, there was this Pepperdine student. So she was in college and she like helped out with this like youth group type thing. And she had a tattoo. And I was like, well, if she has a tattoo and she loves Jesus, then I guess loving Jesus can be cool. Like it's
Yeah.
just like that's the way our young minds process it when we see someone that is younger and they're like, cool, they're a surfer, you know what I mean? Like, it makes it so much easier for the younger people to be like, okay, this isn't just like a thing old people do, you know?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's really good. And the other thing is that young women need to see that men like this exist, right? Because so often I hear both men and women saying good women don't exist anymore. Good men don't exist anymore. Good women don't exist. It's like,
No, I
no,
say it all
maybe
the
because the
time.
ones that you're seeing what?
No, I said all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the ones that we see primarily, if you think about it, like, the people who are in the media, who are doing the best as far as fame and, like, in front of us the most did it the wrong way. So, it makes us think like, "Well, good people must not exist." Well, no, good people are just mostly at home,
Mhm. Yeah.
not on Instagram.
Yeah.
So, it's really important, you have, like, such a profound role, being an example, to the young women who are scrolling on Instagram, seeing like, "Oh, guys like this exist, like, this is important and worth waiting for, and like, work on myself, and I'm not gonna miss out," so to speak. So, yeah, I mean, it's really important, and it's really profound
Yeah.
that you're doing that, so
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and I've had the amount of people I've had that have reached out to me that are like going through the exact same thing as me is crazy. And I've actually had people be like, "Thank you for proving that there are good people in this world." And
yeah,
so it is good to lead by example. Like I thought I was the only one. Like people would call me crazy, like, "Oh, you don't want to go out with us, and you don't want to go get blackout drunk every weekend." And it's like, no, I don't. And it felt like I was the only one who kind of took this path because everybody in college that I was with was doing
yeah,
that. They were going and getting wasted and with another person every other week or something like that. And I was like, no, I don't want to be like that. Like I want to be pure. I mean, not everyone has their flaws, but like I want to choose the path of like purity and because I want to be a good partner. I want to be a father. I want to be a husband one day. And to do that, you have to lead by example, follow the example that's written in the book. But yeah, and I love your content. You guys are putting out great content too for men that are broken because we feel like there's this big clash between men and women. Women are pointing the finger at men, and men are pointing the finger at women. Like, oh, women, all they are now is just a bunch of hoes. They want to go out and drink and party and do all this, and men just don't care about women anymore. They just want to hook up. That's all they're looking for. So it's like this cat
blame
and
game,
mouse game. Yeah, blame game.
yeah.
But I think, the one thing that I have seen personally, and Chelsea, I'm sure you've seen it too, um, people are so hungry and I mean dying actually of thirst for this kind of truth. And actually it's how we're supposed to be living. It's nothing new. It's just like I feel like, humanity really lost its way. And coming at it from the way that actually all of us are kind of approaching it, I did not have the same sort of story as you. I mean, I was very wild and I did all the wrong things and all the sinning and all the things. But then I think that's the beauty of faith, is that it doesn't exclude anyone. Like, it's that idea of repentance, which also for me, when you really unpack it, I'm going on a few tangents here, but when you unpack it, the actual word was Greek metanoia, which meant to turn one's heart and mind. So instead of like this repentance of like penance, which was the Latin, it's actually just you're turning away from what you were doing, turning towards, the truth, which is God,
Yeah,
which is Jesus.
yeah,
And yeah, I think it's so beautiful to be able to at
it
any
is.
point after however many mistakes, you know, in this world, people are not going to forgive you, but he does. And I think personally, my biggest struggle, if I look back, was learning to forgive myself. And I couldn't do it alone. I couldn't do it without
Yeah.
God. I couldn't do it without Jesus. Um, and that actually brings me to one point that I would love to kind of like go into with you guys is like, we're all on this faith journey. And I think everybody has a scripture, like that one scripture that I've always, if someone tells me to pick one, I have to pick two. If it's two, I have to pick three. I don't know what it is. It's just that way. So I have two, which are like my favorite. But I would love to hear before I say mine, I'd love to hear what your guys's are and
Fine.
why and like what is it for you? I'm
I have
happy
to
to
look it up.
start because I know mine.
My yeah,
Um,
you go ahead.
let's see.
So
I have it
my
written down.
My
Go ahead.
my experience was when I was going through when I was going through my divorce. And divorce is messy. It makes everybody into the worst versions of themselves. And I remember being so angry and so burnt up. And this was before I even had faith. Like I was so far away from faith. But I remember in one moment I was sitting there and I was so angry with like that everyone was like turning on me and victim and just burned up and bitter and angry. And I heard this voice. And it's the weird, it's, like I don't have these things happen to me all the time, but this happened. And it said, forgive them for they know not what they do. And the next day I was speaking to someone and I was like, I heard this. I think it's Shakespeare. And he was like, that was what Jesus said. And I was like, what?
It's
And in the
Shakespeare.
moment, I mean, that's how little I knew. But in the moment, I felt this warmth. It was like this blanket that just covered me, and like it just took all my anger in a second. It was gone, and I was like, whoa. And I was spiritual at the time, but I was like the spiritual hippie, kind of like all of
Yeah,
this. Um, and it was the most profound experience. And I think that for me, it just stood out and it made it so much more real that this exists and it's possible. And if he can make me feel that in a second, you know, forgiveness is a superpower. Um, and
it's a good one.
especially one I think that we need, dealing with these breakups and, in the society when, as you said, men are pointing the finger at women, women at men, but it's even like, you know, the left against the right and the this against the that, and it's always like this. It's
Yeah,
we're all
Yeah,
fighting each other, um, rather than forgiving and focusing here to fix here. So that's
exactly. That's
my
beautiful.
thank you.
Yeah, forgiveness is that's one of the biggest things that I've been working on. And divorce is, it seems like we the people that go through those major like heartbreaks or loss and then they choose like turning to the Lord, that creates the strongest connection as compared to no, as a pastor had said, a trust fund Christian, the one that was born into it, raised
that's
through it,
funny.
and they fall out of they fall out of the connection with God because it's just a routine for them. So
That's
Yeah,
me.
that's what he said, trust fund
That's me.
Christian.
That's why I'm a
I
trust
love
fund
that.
baby. It all makes sense now. I'm gonna use that because that makes so much sense. That's so real. Yeah, you don't
I need to
appreciate it
write
when
that down
it's
right now,
into
actually, because it's
you. Yeah.
great.
It seems like the ones that get broken, they get crushed in spirit, are the ones that grow closest to God and the relationship is real. It's real. So my favorite verse, I mean, I know this one's a pretty general one, but he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. And that was the very first verse that I looked into when I was exploring faith because I was crushed in spirit. My heart was destroyed. I thought, this woman I was going to marry, she left me and I had nothing. Like I had nothing. So it felt like the only way I could really love, the only love I could accept was love of the Heavenly Father. And so he has been healing. It's been a really tough process. I'm still going through it, but like accepting him into my life has completely changed my trajectory. Like my own dad was like, I don't you're completely different in 4 months. Like 4 months. You are I don't this is a miracle. Like what I've been praying for you for my whole life your whole life. And it's crazy.
That's
It's
so
crazy how it works.
cool. Like goosebumps. That's so cool. I mean, there's just nothing like hearing that from someone like your parent who just like knows you. I just think that that is, a huge compliment and I mean, it means a lot, and it's so beautiful that you did do this journey on your own. And I think it's going to, I was just talking to my dad about it and he goes, I don't think that's true. But I was like, yeah, this is what happens. The first generation are like not Christians. And so then the one after them, they turn to be Christians and they're really passionate about it. And then the one after that, they're like, eh. And then the one after that, they're not at all. And then it
Yeah.
cycles. And that's my dad was like, because that would make me I would be my dad's parents were the first. So that's why I'm the, like and it actually kinda makes sense because I'm not an atheist, but I'm,
So,
like,
were
the
you raised
craziest.
Christian?
Yes,
Oh, you
very.
were? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so his parents so both my, parents' parents were Christians, were really strong Christians, first generation. So, they weren't raised by Christians, or maybe they had, like, one parent was and one parent wasn't, but they got really, really into the Lord, so there's, like, no alcohol at all on
Wow.
either side of
Yeah,
my family, like, no alcohol at any holidays ever, just, like, in my mind growing up, it was, like, adults are just
restriction.
Christians. Yeah,
Yeah,
like, that's just how life is, like, they just are. Um and I was also in private schools and just very, very trust fund
yeah,
Christian. So yeah, and because of that, I really did rebel against it, and I've always had this like battle within my soul because it's like wanting to be your own person and do your own thing, but also like just this internal dilemma of like I want to be my own person, but I also love Jesus and making him my own rather than something that was just passed on to me. Um, and I took a little bit in high school where I was like, I'm gonna be agnostic. And it lasted probably like a month. And I was like, this doesn't make sense. And it just kind of like came back around. But the amount of times, I tell Kate, I'm like, you think you're gonna have this, like, aha moment, but when you grow up this way, like, I've had so many back and forth, but when I look through my journey, even the darkest times, I feel like a little kid who was just, like, barely hanging on to Jesus's hand, and he's, like, dragging me along like me, I'm with my dog on my runs, like, "Come on?" But,
that's funny.
but he was always there. He was always there, and there's not a time in my life where I can look back and be like, "That was a wash." Like
Yeah, yeah.
like, every part, I'm like, "Wow, he used that too, and he was with me there also. I didn't see him, but he was right there. Oh, look at all those signs he gave me that I didn't listen to." So, but yeah, so my favorite verse is Matthew 17:20, which is, I'll tell you the truth, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you.
I love that one.
Yeah. And that has always been the one for me where I'm like, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, this world can just be so dark and it's so hard and it's so difficult and life throws things at us, but God like still finds a way. If you just lean into him, like he's got us. The other day I was also talking to my dad about um just like politics and just like the like dictatorship and or whatever, so like communism and China. We were talking about some dark stuff. And I was just like, why do people take things so seriously? Like, we're all just gonna die. Like, you just have these moments when you're like, "Why is everyone so angry?"
Yeah.
Like, just we're only here for this
We're
long,
all
you
human. Like, we're all on the same planet. We breathe the same air. Like, why are we, like, fighting against each other? Like, we're brothers and sisters, literally.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, as corny as it is, like, if we all just stopped fighting each other and did, like Kate said, like, work with, like, move in forgiveness and have that be like the center, it would be a much easier world. And that's exactly what's happening with the men versus women thing is we're all mad at someone who hurt us and then generalizing the population as a whole. Or we're seeing like, TV and movies or like all these, there's a lot of guys out there that womanize men and just want to sleep with them and blah, 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 blah. But it doesn't mean there are no Jays in the world, right? Like, so if we stopped focusing on the bad and started focusing on the good, it would actually empower more good people to step
Exactly.
up, and there's so many men like I see on Instagram a lot and women that are like, well, no one appreciates me if I'm good, right?
Yeah.
Because we put so much energy into these people that are wild, and then we, say all men are bad, but then it's like, but you're giving them attention. Why not give the good guys attention and then empower more good guys and more good women to move that way? So, yeah, a little bit of
The
faith goes a
the
long
story
way.
of Adam and Eve, like when Eve made the decision to eat the apple and basically decided to sin against God, it was like this choice of free will. And so, like you said, like, why can't we just love and like cherish each other? In God's perfect world, it would have been that way, you know? But the free will of man giving people like these all these emotions, and the free will of man is what kind of like does that. You have tons of evil people in the world, and then we have really good like people in the world, and so that's what the kingdom of heaven is everything is just perfection. But yeah, that negative reinforcement, like from the media, like what we get, like everything that is negative just gets amplified. Like
Yeah.
negative based posts amplified. It could be you could say the most positive thing in the world, and your videos probably just won't do as well as compared to being like saying something hateful or hate speech or whatnot online. It's crazy. I actually made a video about that. Like it's actually it's a psychological tool that the media sometimes uses to get their content or get their media pushed. That's why the news has such a big effect on us because it's
Yeah.
all negative information most of the time.
I don't watch the news.
I don't either.
Like, sometimes I
Me
think maybe I
neither.
should, but I just don't.
Follow
I
some
just don't.
newsy stuff, but I
I'm
don't
like,
watch the news. I think that we've been conditioned by by this culture to be in a space, and I see it a lot with like the older generations, and I feel like, I mean, I'm like older than both of you guys, but I feel like from my age, which is 39, I really think that already I'm like taking a step back and being like, this is fear based. Like all of this is fear based, and it's also, we're in a culture of desensitization. Like all of the stuff that's going on, like the people getting murdered and this and that, and it's all over social media, and it's just like crazy in your face, and people are like desensitized. It's like you're watching a video
Yeah,
game.
it
Um,
is. It's crazy.
but that's why I think it's so important for more people, like you, Jay, like the message that you're spreading, like the stuff that we're doing, because it's got to start somewhere. Like we've got to start, you know, reinforcing that message. Because as I said at the beginning, like people are so hungry for this. It's like something else opens in people. Like I see sometimes in my comments on some of my reels, it's like people just open and they're like, yes. And it's like, oh my God, someone sees me. Someone sees the pain that I'm going through. But look, there's another way to deal with this. Like we don't have to be the hurt people hurting people. Like we can actually choose to be the healed people healing people. Like there's another way.
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's kinda
being
cool to see the positive trending more, finally.
Yeah.
Our generation is starting to wake up a little and be like, "Hmm, that didn't work. So maybe we should try something else?" Like, you
maybe
know?
probably a good idea. There was this book that I read called Influence. It's a really good book, but it talks about like basically communication techniques and how like people can influence other people. And one of the biggest things was like that stood out to me was like how the media will put out all right, say there was like a suicide or a death by like car suicide. Well, that area where that news was like projected, suicide spiked up. So it's like people are so easily influenced by what they're watching, the news that they're hearing, the media that they're consuming, the posts that they're getting. People are so influenced by that that it literally affects their well-being. Like people there's suicides reported in a on a news outlet, suicide spikes up in the country or in that area where that media was put out because people feed off of other people. It's like this group think.
Yeah.
You hop on, like one person does it, oh, gives me a reason to do it too. And so it just creates this chain reaction. But if you put out good things, people follow along and you can like what we do, like putting out a good message really does affect other
Yeah.
people and help them out.
Yeah. It was a dance for me at the beginning, and I love the stuff that you're doing now. The content, the way you're starting out with such positive content. Because when I started as Kate, like, I had people being like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm fine. I didn't even write these quotes," just like but I was just posting because that's the stuff that would do well, was
Yeah.
this really dark, depressing, like, all of it sounded like I just got my heart smashed to smithereens, and I was like, "I haven't been in a relationship in years." Like, it just, but I was also, like, feeding into my own pain from the stuff I had been in, so there was an element of, like,
Authenticity.
yeah, and just feeding into, like, the darkness in there, but also, like, if I post anything positive, it would flop. So there was a frustrating little period where I was like, y'all suck. Like, cause you want me to like post this really sad stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah. And then eventually I figured out a way, but it's still kind of a little bit where it's like, if I talk about cheating, even if I'm saying like don't cheat, but if I talk about something that is controversial, those are the ones that do the best, right? Um, but what's interesting is to talk. Then I also have learned if you talk about these like extreme good type of things, those also do well. Like
Yeah.
I'm never gonna look at any other man ever again, and it's just like, "Yes!" And then everyone gets all about that. But it has to be so extreme and,
It
like,
does.
controversial to do well because otherwise our brains are like, "Whatever."
It's
So
gotta
it's
be a
very
hook. It's gotta hook
huh?
you.
Yeah, yeah. Um, it's definitely interesting, the psychology of it all, but I do find it fascinating. I was thinking about it yesterday, because I had what's his name DM me. What's his name?
Oh,
Kate.
I saw that. I forgot his
Yeah,
name too. That was
and
cool.
yeah, but I was just like, "Isn't that interesting?" Like, here I am, like, living in LA and this and that. I'm around celebrities, like, my whole life, and when I was younger, right, I always just felt like I need to be hotter. I need to be prettier. I need to have bigger boobs and bigger lips. And I'm not tall enough and I'm not skinny enough. And if I just dressed better, if I just had more IG followers, if I just, then like I would be seen, then I would be enough. And even if I'm not like, wasn't acting that out, like those voices were at some subconscious level, right? Like there's a reason I was like trying to make myself skinnier, trying to look pretty, trying to this or that. Like I was posting more like, I was proud of my body for sure, and I, like, worked out, and so I was like, "Well, I should be able to, like, post if I" and I still will if I'm in the beach, like and I live at the beach, but if I'm traveling, like, I'll post bikini, but it's not, like, for the point of, like, "I'm hot, and I'm trying to prove that I'm hot," and it's like but all of that those things didn't attract celebrities, didn't attract anything because it's just everyone's doing that. What people actually want, what will actually get even like the biggest celebrities to turn their head is people actually talking about depth, talking about Jesus, talking about like something more, and it's like it's just such a prime example of the fact that like oh and going back to like the beginning of what we were saying like this turning away thing like Kate was saying it's the pride that the core of it all isn't that like we need to do good to get good. It's not we need to like sin less so that Jesus will love us. It's like the only reason we have this book is so life can suck less. Like he's given us the tools so we don't have to be in so much freaking pain all the time because those things end up being so empty. It doesn't matter. You see all these girls, I know girls like that are literally the hottest people I've ever seen in my life with millions of followers and they're miserable, right? So it's like the whole point of Christianity and of living this way is for our benefit. It's not like I'm sure he's happy that we're happy, but it's not helping like he's good. He doesn't need us. He's chilling. Um and I think that too is like the problem too is that like the Christian community and the really legalism, like, oh, you're not good enough because you're doing this and that. It's like that's the opposite of the point. Like they are already good enough. We are supposed to be sinning less so that we can enjoy life more.
Mhm.
God made love. God made sex. God made sugar, for Pete's sake. He made the ocean. He made waves. He made nature. Like, he wants us to enjoy it. And we are all out here like trying to do these things to like improve life that are actually shooting ourselves in the foot. So it's just a crazy like too. But it's really been interesting with this content to see how the minds of people work, and what we're really craving, which is depth and real love, and even when we're going back to, people that are going to the club after a breakup, like, or just being like going out and partying, they're all trying to get to the same end by different means. They're just doing it a way that's going to take a lot longer,
Yeah.
and it's like they all just want to be loved. And even if even just sleeping with someone, it's the reason they're just sleeping with someone is because they actually want to feel loved and they're scared of being seen. So if I just sleep with someone and then discard them, they don't actually ever get to see the real me. And if I'll ever let them see the real me, then they might reject me.
Yeah.
And it's just wild how human psychology works and how we all work. And I did this post the other day about like, I can't ever actually hate anyone because or emotionally intelligent people can't actually hate anyone or be really truly angry at anyone because at the end of the day, we know why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Royce, no, come here. Drinking out of the toilet.
Nice.
Stinking dog. um, yeah.
But
That's my long rant. Well, thank you. Just get your toilet mouth all over me. Sit down.
what's the dog doing? Yeah, so I agree. Like that's the point. The Christianity is to be Christ-like, and so I think our job, our purpose as human beings, is to continue to spread Jesus's message, and to take what he has taught and try to get as many people to follow that teaching, so that we can all achieve the same goal, which is to eventually to be in his kingdom. And so, like you said, like outside worldly objects, that's why it says in the Bible, like, if you love your worldly objects, then you do not love me, because you are putting all these objects first. And so, like you said, if you're chasing money, or you're chasing looks, you're chasing like outside validation, then you're missing the point, because the only true love, like righteous love, is his love. And if he loves you, accept that love, and you love yourself, then no worldly object will be fulfilling, because his is the most fulfilling. And then like you said, like hookup culture, partying, it's trying to fill that void, because you don't have the center. You don't have God. You're trying to fill a void. You're trying to get fake love by hooking up with someone. You're trying to get, fake attention by going out and just, going you're trying to ease that pain while you're drinking your life away, because you don't have an anchor. You don't have some God to root you and be
Yeah.
like, all right, this is why you're here. You're here to spread a good message. You're here to fulfill my will. But yeah,
I mean, they don't call it the narrow path because he just decided today. It's hard. Like,
it is.
um, I think, just that and just the idea of trying to walk in his shoes is I'm on that path now, trying to do it more and more. You reminded me of it when you said, what did you say about the trust fund Christian? So
Yeah.
I said about myself the other day, I think I said it to you, Chelsea. I was like, I'm tired of being a convenient Christian. Like, I'll do what's convenient for me, but like the parts that are difficult, like no sex before marriage, like I don't even think we're supposed to swear. That's also what I'm working on. I was like, I don't want to do those things because they're uncomfortable. And I'm now like, I'm doing those things. I'm like, okay, we're in this and we're doing it. And I want to know what, he sacrificed his life for us. And I feel like my pastor actually said to me, he was like, within these humanly sacrifices that you make, that is where God pours blessings. So, and I mean, I know, look, we are little me's. I mean, we're humans, we have an ego. So it's like, I try not to think about what I'm going to get because right now I'm not getting much. But,
Yeah.
but Um, but I'm sorry. But it's been the most empowering journey. And I think I was reminded of, I saw this video the other day, and the guy said, how much longer are you gonna avoid doing what you're capable of doing in order to continue with what you're comfortable doing? And I was like, oh my God, that's it. Like,
Ugh,
I've been living
Wow.
in comforts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let that sit with you
I love
that's
it.
actually. How much longer are you going to avoid what you are capable of doing in order to continue with what you're
I
comfortable
love that.
doing?
I love that. That's powerful.
Yeah.
And it is not an easy path. It really is not. It's harder to keep yourself grounded. It is harder to not fall into lust. It is harder to withdraw from like, going out to, drinking. It's harder to do that than it is to, fall into that. It's so easy to give into that path. It's so easy to fall into to sin in a way. But it's whenever you can stop yourself and have self-control, then that shows strength, like shows true strength. And we're all human, God, Jesus was the perfect man, the most perfect man to ever walk the face of this earth. We are human. We are going to make mistakes. We are not going to live. We're all human. We're going to sin. Whatever we do, like whether it be cussing or whatnot. But the longer the better you stay to the path, the stronger you become. You withhold from sleeping around with people. You try to save it for marriage. That's what I'm personally trying to do. I've, but yeah, we can't really be. We can do our best to be like Jesus, but we're in the end we're not. We're human. So
yeah. And that's where grace comes in, like Kate and I have done such a good job holding space for one another and teaching, like we're so hard on ourselves as humans
yeah, yeah,
too. And when we do like not go out or not sleep with that person, like in the end it is difficult to do, but it is easier in the end, like because afterward you don't feel guilty. Afterward you have more flourishing relationships. Once it's easier in the long run, and it's more rewarding in the long run, but it's a lot of giving ourselves grace because the reality is like even the best of the best Christians, it took me a while to be like, "Oh my gosh, my grandmother has flaws," like, but even
yeah,
she, has things and we all have things. There's always something. So it's just so important to have grace with ourselves and recognize that like it's not our job to be perfect. It's our job to know that like he's already got us. We're already covered. And that's not a reason to sin, but that should be like inspire us to want to be better, because
yeah,
he just still loves us anyways. Um, it's like dogs, he could do freaking nothing wrong. He could be the actual worst, and he has been the actual worst. And I would not look at him any different. And that's how God looks at us.
yeah.
And if we could really, I think, like see that we would behave differently. Something one of you just said about what was it? It was like just I mean, when you have those like aha moments of like the fact that like he did die for us, like in that moment, if you really like recognize like, oh, he wait, so he died for me, but I'm having a problem not cussing? Like, when we really have these moments of clarity and because, again, growing up in the church, and I'm sure you both have had, when we have these, like, real aha moments, real moments of clarity, it's like, "What the heck have I been doing?" But if we could just live in that space all the time, everything would be easier. Decision making would be easier. Like if we just really, really recognized and if we really like appreciated what happened, like his existence, his forgiveness, if we really, 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 really like at the bottom of our hearts understood and believed that, we would move differently. We would act differently. We would never be like I think about the moments where I'm like annoyed. I get really annoyed sometimes. Like especially I just saw a video yesterday that was, like, making a joke about, like, how nice it is when no one talks to you in the morning. So that's me, right? So it's like
Me too.
how annoyed I'll get at, like, someone just asking me a simple question because it's, before 8 a.m. How dare you speak to
Don't
me?
talk to me until I've had my coffee.
Yes,
Sorry.
exactly. And in that moment not you. You're
I
fine. Well,
know she's
No,
gonna
I'm
do it.
kidding.
I'm like, I have to send this message. I have to send it. Oh my God. And I know it's gonna happen, but I'm like, just don't read your phone until you've done your breath work and your Bible.
yeah, that's a
Yeah,
that's a me problem. But, like, the reality is, like, if I in that moment, what's happening is I'm completely forgetting that Jesus exists. Like, in that moment, he actually doesn't exist, because otherwise, why would I be annoyed at something so petty when, like, I get to exist? Like,
yeah,
he died for me, and I get to go to heaven. I'd be so if I was in that moment, like, focused and thinking about that, I'd be so stoked. I'd be like, "Sweet, what's up? Good morning,"
yeah,
like but
yeah,
it's when we forget that and fall out of frame and go into our own little me, I that it gets more difficult to operate and function. And I think that's why it's
exactly.
important to have that time in the morning to bring us back to, okay, what's real? What am I doing here? What's the whole purpose? What is life? you know,
Yeah,
if we could get that big aha moment to really hit every morning, we'd be living a lot better lives, I think.
yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Or when that dang, like, when some inanimate object is really pissing you off, and you're like, why is this making me so mad? This is the dumbest thing ever. It's like in those moments, you have to be like, all right, why am I getting mad about something so trivial when there's so many bigger issues going on? But hey, we're human, you know. We're
Yes.
human.
And that's where the grace part comes in. Um, I'm excited. Well, thank you for
So
spending
actually,
time
I'm
on your
quite
Thanksgiving. Huh?
no, wait, I need to ask a question. I need to ask one more
Go, go, go,
question.
yeah. Go,
Actually,
go,
probably
go.
like two more questions. But
That's fine.
first, and it's kind of random, but just because we're speaking about it, I was thinking about it. Because I was doing like a value exercise. I've been kind of trying to put all my values together this week. And one of the questions, like one of the first questions was like, okay, so who, if you could pick any person like that, you really look up to, that you want to be like, that has the values that you have. And I would love to hear from both of you. You can take some time to think about it, but it's like, who is the person? And then what are those values that you admire? Because once you figure those out, it's like the step towards figuring out what your core values are.
So
And
don't
I would
hate
love
me,
to know.
but
Okay.
can we come back to this on a part two? Because I do have a client call right now.
Oh no. Okay. I really want to. I really want to come
Yeah,
back to this. Okay, Jay.
Are you
let's do
okay with
another
We're
that?
gonna have
episode for
Do a
sure.
part two? Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
let's do
find a
it.
time that works between all the countries for next week if you are
why
available.
Perfect.
don't we just do the same time?
Because I don't even know what time it'll be in Greece. I don't know. I have to look at my
Oh,
I have
you're
to
in
look.
Greece. In Greece, it'll be six
Lucky.
o'clock or 5 o'clock.
Okay, so we can do the same time if that works for you.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, cool. Happy
Thank you so
Thanksgiving.
Happy
much.
Thanksgiving.
Enjoy
This was
your pork
great.
and
Thank you.
listening. Stay tuned
Yeah.
for part 2 with Jay. Yay.
Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.